Cannonball Run II is a 1984 American comedy film starring Burt Reynolds and an all-star cast, released by Warner Brothers and Golden Harvest. Like the original Cannonball Run, it is set around an illegal cross-country race. This was the last of the formula comedies for Reynolds. It is also marked the final feature film appearances of Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. Their appearances, coupled with those of Sammy Davis, Jr., and Shirley MacLaine, marks the final on-screen appearance of the old Rat Pack team. Plot: having lost the first Cannonball Run race, Sheikh Abdul Ben Falafel is ordered by his father to go back to America and win another Cannonball Run in order to emblazon the Falafel name as the fastest in the world. When Sheikh Abdul points out that there is no Cannonball Run that year, his father simply tells him to buy one, to make sure his ulcer does not prevent him from winning. The Sheikh hires Dr. Nicholas Van Helsing, who teamed with JJ and Victor in the first race, as his in-car physician. He brings along a blonde-haired servant, who receives numerous slaps in the face from both the Sheikh and his father. Most of the participants from the first race are lured back, including JJ and Victor, who have taken jobs working with a flying stunt crew. In a subplot, Blake and Fenderbaum are in financial trouble with Don Cannelloni, who in turn is in financial trouble with mob enforcer Jaime Kaplan. After the Sheikh manages to bail out Blake and Fenderbaum by handing one of Don's thugs a stack of cash, Don hatches a plot to kidnap the Sheikh in an attempt to extort money from him. The race begins with JJ and Victor dressed as a U.S. Army general and his driver, a private. They catch the attention of Betty and Veronica, who are dressed as nuns for a musical, but remain in character and hitch a ride with JJ and Victor when they think the guys could become overnight millionaires. They do not lose their habits until later. Other races include Mitsubishi engineer Jackie Chan, teamed with a giant behind the wheel in a car, a Mitsubishi Starion, able to go underwater. In a red Lamborghini with two great-looking chicks in it, is the duo of Susan Anton and Catherine Bach. Another team is accompanied by an orangutan, who at times appears to be the driver. They are pulled over at one point by traffic cops Tim Conway and Don Knotts. JJ and Victor stop along the way to help a stranded soldier, Homer Lyle. They also get much better acquainted with their passengers, Betty and Veronica, who change into something a little more comfortable. Don's enforcers continue to blunder along the way, with disastrous results. After Don's gang capture the Sheikh, the racers band together to invade Don's Pinto Ranch. JJ, Victor, and Fenderbaum infiltrate it in drag, dressed as belly dancers. Others barrel in by car and rescue the Sheikh, who is reluctant to leave, since he has his pick of women there. The three dancers and Blake go to their leader to seek help, only to have him jump into the race himself. In the end, the Sheikh bankrolls Don's ranch and then declares that he is upping the stakes to $2 million for the winner. All jump into their vehicles and make a dash for the finish line, avoiding traffic patrollers on the way. The Sheikh, as it turns out, loses yet again, this time blaming the doctor who rode with him for injecting him with an unknown substance. But he convinces his father that he will win the return trip race, having hired the winner of this one. It turns out to be the orangutan with a penchant for destructive behavior and giving elderly ladies the middle finger. Cast: Burt Reynolds as JJ, McClure, Tom DeLuise as Victor Prinzi, Captain Chaos. DeLuise also appears uncredited as Don Cannelloni. Dean Martin as Jaime Blake. This was Martin's last movie appearance. Sammy Davis, Jr. as Morris Fenderbaum. Jamie Farr as Sheikh Abdul Ben Falafel. Ricardo Montalban as King Abdul Ben Falafel. Telly Savalas as Jaime Kaplan. Marilu Henner as Betty. Shirley MacLaine as Veronica. Susan Anton as Jill Rivers. Catherine Bach as Marcy Thatcher. Foster Brooks, Sid Caesar and Louis Nye as the fisherman in the rowboat. Jackie Chan as Jackie Chan, Mitsubishi engineer. Richard Kiel as Arnold, Jackie's driver. Tim Conway and Don Knotts are California Highway Patrol officers who pull over the driving monkey. Mel Tillis as Mel and Tony Danza as Terry, the limo drivers with the orangutan. Jack Elam as Dr. Nicholas Van Helsing. Charles Nelson Riley as Don Cannelloni. Michael V. Gazzo as Sonny, Don's henchman. Alex Rocco as Tony, Don's henchman. Henry Silver as Slim, Don's henchman. Abe Vigoda as Caesar, Don's henchman. Jim Nabbers as Private Homer Lyle, a parody of his popular character, Gomer Pyle. Molly Picon reprises her role of Mrs. Goldfarb, Seymour's mother. In this film, cannonballers drive into her house. Frank Sinatra as himself. This was Sinatra's last movie appearance. Joe Theismann as Mac, the truck driver who helps out Jill and Marcy. Sean Weatherly as the girl in Jamie Blake's bed. Dale Ishimoto as a Japanese businessman. Art Johnson as an ace pilot Victor Cezes from World War II, who speaks with a telltale German accent. Fred Dreyer as a California Highway Patrol sergeant. Chris Lemond as a young California Highway Patrol officer. George Lindsay as Uncle Cal. Doug McClure as the Sheikh's servant, an out-of-work actor who hasn't had a series in 9 years. Jilly Rizzo as Jilly. Dub Taylor as a sheriff. Director Hal Needham appears uncredited as a Porsche 928 driver in a cowboy hat, whose car is crushed flat in the movie by the monster truck. Bigfoot. Reception. Box office. After the 10th highest 1984 opening weekend of $8.3 million, Cannonball Run II slowed down, becoming the 32nd most popular 1984 film at the USA and Canada box office with a total lifetime gross of $28 million, less than half the takings of the first Cannonball Run. Critical reception. Cannonball Run II was met with harsher reviews than its predecessor, with a 14% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes based on reviews from 14 critics. Roger Ebert gave the film half a star out of 4, calling it one of the laziest insults to the intelligence of moviegoers that I can remember. Sheer arrogance made this picture. The film received 8 Golden Raspberry Award nominations at the 1984 Golden Raspberry Awards, including Worst Picture, Worst Actor and Worst Actress.